We're going to refresh our memory on what it actually kind of means to solve for a variable in an equation. So there are a couple key things that it's just really important to remember when you're solving an equation with a single variable. So the first thing is that it's an equation. You want to keep things balanced. So whatever you do to one side of the equation, you need to do the other. So if you're deciding you need to subtract 2, you need to subtract 2 on the other side. To keep it equal, you do whatever you do on both sides. So when you're actually going to solve for the variable then, you want to move everything to one side so that your variable is on just one side of the equation. So you would have like the variables on one side, everything else on the other side. So when you're solving for your equations, you simplify the equations and combine your like terms as much as you can on each side of the equation first. And then you just perform inverse operations. One at a time until you get the variable term by itself on one side of the equation. So we're just going to review what it means. So inverse is really just a fancy word for opposite in the math world, but what it means to undo things. So say you have a positive term or addition, to undo that, you would subtract. So say you had x plus 3 equals 8. To solve for that, you guys would subtract the 3. That undoes it. Just do it on the right to keep it balanced. X would equal 5. So what if you have something that is negative or you have a subtraction? Well, how do you undo that? You would add it. So say you had x minus 6 equals 10. That minus 6, to get the variable by itself, you would add 6. This is all pretty simple. If it were just a one-step equation, they're not too bad. So x would be 16. But eventually, and what we're going to end up doing, is having multiple operations and multi-step equations, not just one-step equations. And then the last operation we're going to focus on today, we're going to do division fractions another day, is multiplication. So you would divide to undo. So say you had negative 4x equals 12. You guys need to remember that if you don't see any operation in between the 4 and the x, that they're really just multiplying. So if they're right next to each other, it's negative 4 times x. You would divide by negative 4. And x would be negative 3. So just keep that in mind as we're solving equations today. The nice thing with algebra is that you can always check your equations. So say, I'm going to solve this equation. So say you solve your variable for k, and I'm just going to do it quickly here. We can simplify this left side. So I would distribute that 7 in there, get 63 plus 7k equals 84. We're trying to get the variable by itself, so we'll first get rid of that positive 63. So we'll subtract it. We get 7k equals 21. And we have 7 times k, so we would divide to get rid of that guy there. And your k would equal 3. So the nice thing about this is that you guys can always check your answer. So when you go to check it, what you're doing is substituting what you got in there for your variable. So you would do 7 times 9 plus 3 and check, does it equal 84? So 9 plus 3 is 12. 7 times 12 is 84. So, worked out. That is the nice thing when you guys are doing this. You can always check your answer if you're unsure of what you got. Especially sometimes, like, you might get decimals. They won't always work out to be whole numbers every single time. But that is a possible option for you guys.